I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Thanks for hanging with us on a Tuesday. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Chois with me, Chris Snead in the First Nine Bank studio. Y'all keep hitting us up if you'd like to do so. Thoughts, comments, questions. All welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. All right, Snead. This was special for you because you're a mascot guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was, I'm trying to figure out who put this ranking out. Anyway, it's the 20 most unusual high school mascots.
Highland Park Scots.
In the nation. The Scots are not on there. This is for the whole country.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot. Texas could have 20 of their own.
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
But Texas has...
Itasca Wampus Cats.
Texas has the most on this list, or tied for the most. Can you guess what other state has a lot of weird ones?
Florida.
That's a good guess.
Illinois.
There you go. Okay.
And you know who knows a ton of those? I know there's
Gus?
Yeah, Gus. I know there's a mascot called the Wooden Shoes.
Okay.
There's a town called
You nailed that one.
There's
That's
a town called Pekin, but I'm not going to say their mascot. Pekin, Illinois.
I don't see that one on here.
It's not.
It's not appropriate?
Yeah, nope.
Okay.
I guess we're getting back to some people would think it's appropriate again.
Sure.
But
all right, so here we go.
Are these the knob nostril wooden shoes?
No. Tatopolis.
Tatopolis wooden shoes.
Okay. That's one of them. You already mentioned the other one that I thought was on here, but I don't see it. Okay. I don't see Cuero. I thought Cuero was on here, but apparently they're not.
The Gobblers?
The Gobblers are not on here. We've got Yuma, Arizona.
What are they?
The Criminals.
The Criminals.
That's amazing.
Nice.
The Yuma Criminals. Effingham in Illinois.
Effingham?
Effingham. Right.
Okay.
They're the Flaming Hearts.
Okay.
That's a good one. Effingham Flaming Hearts.
I want to see how many of these that I've heard Bill Gustafson say.
This one's way up there. Laurel Hill in Florida.
What is that?
They're the Hobos.
Nice.
The Laurel Hill Hobos. The mascot, or the logo's pretty good. It is literally a hobo with a sack.
Nice.
Frankfort, Indiana. Frankfort.
The Frankfurters? Hot dogs?
Hot dogs.
Nice.
The Frankfurt hot dogs. Oh, Cuero is on here. I missed it. Okay.
So Gobblers.
The Cuero Gobblers. Okay. Got that one. How about another Texas one? Hereford.
Hereford? The herd? The white faces?
The white faces.
Yeah.
That's pretty... It's different. I'm so used to it from being around it, but I guess it's very different. There's probably no other white faces in the country. Anybody that does not know that is a
big cattle country
probably are like, what?
What? There's a bunch of white people there? What?
In Illinois, the Cobden Apple Knockers.
I've heard Bill Gustafson of the Cobden Apple Knockers.
Apple Knockers.
Yeah.
Michigan has the Waters Meat Nimrods. Idaho has the Orofino Maniacs.
Huh.
That's a pretty good one. Illinois, another one, the Freeburg Midgets. Guess that's still appropriate.
I mean, are they referring to the
I don't know what
the kart racing?
Sure. Okay, Ozark, Arkansas.
The Launderers?
No, don't think of the show. Think of like what you think of the Ozark Hills for.
Hillbillies?
There we go.
Okay.
Ozark Hillbillies in Arkansas. I love mascots that like match your territory.
I mean,
Indiana has Northeast Du Bois Jeeps. They're the Jeeps.
The Jeeps?
The
Jeep.
New Braunfels, Texas.
The Unicorns.
There we go. Brewer, Maine is the Witches.
Ooh.
Brewer Witches.
Wow.
Matches the name. Hoopston, Illinois. This might be the most unique on this list.
I don't know what it is.
The Corn Jerkers.
Okay. I have heard him say that. I have heard him say the Corn Jerkers.
What in the world? Freeport, Illinois.
What do you got?
The Pretzels.
Okay.
The Freeport Pretzels. Robstown, Texas. Come on. You ought to know this one.
Oh, I know this. Oh, wait a second. Are these the sand gnats?
No.
Sand crabbers?
No, this one's, think more agriculture.
Oh, these are the rice pickers?
Cotton pickers.
Cotton pickers, yeah.
Cotton pickers. There we go. Robstown Cotton pickers.
Yeah.
Centralia, Illinois Orphans.
Wow.
It's a weird one. And then we already went over the Tetopolis wooden shoes. That's quite the list.
No,
I'm sure there's a million honorable mentions that could be on there.
Itasca Wampus Cats.
Wampus Cat's good. I mean, that's up there. Again, you could have made a list of just 20 Texas schools easily that would have been on there. Y'all could tell us. Someone went Trent Gorillas.
Gorillas.
Navasota Rattlers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not
Rattlers,
unique.
That's not unique.
Because what's the San Antonio school that Reagan has? Reagan's the Rattlers, right?
Florida A&MU.
Is it the Peking Toms? Someone asked.
No.
That's a peeping Tom,
It's
right?
not. It's Pekin.
Someone says Pekin is now the Dragons.
Yeah.
They
weren't the Dragons before. Oh, I'm not saying it on the air.
It's that bad?
Oh, yeah. I'll say it off air.
I mean, Freeburg was pretty questionable, so it had to.
It's worse.
Okay. Topless wooden shoes horse name. I said Tetopolis.
Tetopolis wooden shoes.
Tetopolis. Oh, my goodness. Bullfighter says, geez, you can't just get one person in? It's just me. Oh, I asked for 5, man.
Bullfighter, I got you.
What?
It's one guy.
Fine. I will tell my family, y'all stay out. I'm going to sneak in here.
It's one guy. Okay. I can't get 5 or 6 people in.
But they're kids. There's 3
They're
kids.
not kids. They're the ones who eat the most.
There's 3 kids.
They eat the most. I've seen Neil eat.
Yeah, he'll put it away. But Walker, he's good. He'd be like, ooh, he's the pickiest eater. God, he's a pain. He's pickier than Lucas is.
Wow.
But probably not as bad as Jamie.
Wow.
This one says, well, the Stars are in trouble. Lucas said the Stars would lose the first 2 rounds, and they won. Now he picks them to win.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. Reverse it. Someone says, my mother was a Wampus Cat. I don't know if you're saying that they were from Itasca or if she actually was.
I
Wampus Cat.
I want to go with the former.
Pied Pipers. Someone else says, Robstown was in our districts in school, terrible at everything but baseball. They kicked our tail in baseball. Okay. What else? There's another few that we're missing that we haven't said from Texas.
Yeah.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Hey, what's happening? Happy Tuesday. It's not Monday. Good afternoon and welcome. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score. 107thescore.com and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Powered by Happy State Bank. Alongside the one and only George Christopher Snead. I'm Chois Woodman. Well, Lucas White is across the way right now. We'll get Clint Scott along as well. You can also join us. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions, all of it welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app. You can watch us on TV. Fox 34 News Now. On YouTube, on Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, whatever you got. We're glad that you've decided to make us part of your Tuesday. Take us anywhere on the mobile app, even listening out in Stiffney, North Carolina, if you so choose. Ayo, Sneader.
What's up?
How you doing, stranger?
I'm good, man. This is it's gonna be a sparse summer here.
A sparse summer, like with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't be a normal summer if the Snead wasn't bouncing in and out.
It's not my fault.
Oh, there we go. You know how many? That's
well,
one of my,
hey,
one of my
you know
least
what?
favorite phrases as a parent. It's not my fault.
Hey, I'm gonna miss.
Own it, man.
I'm gonna miss Thursday.
You going to Oklahoma City?
Oh yeah, I got before the water was dry on the Gatorade bath. My CEO asked us, "So what's our plan for Oklahoma City?"
Hey, where are we setting up?
So I was like, "I'm as a good employee." I said, "I'm already on that."
Already on.
Yeah,
That's all right.
so
We might be able to get you on from Oklahoma City at times if you're going to hang out there for a while.
well, here's the thing. I'm going. I probably shouldn't tell the whole world I'm going to be gone for all this time. I'm going from Oklahoma City to Arlington to Houston to Austin on Saturday. 2 funerals. 2 funerals.
That's not good.
And then I'm going to Tyler for our alumni golf deal, and then potentially back to Oklahoma City, and
Okay.
then to Arkansas for a between now and the 5th of.
Seems busy.
Yeah,
Yeah. But we'll get you here and there.
I'll have to call in.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm the guy that sits there for an hour.
Used to be before they replaced you.
I know. I worry.
Oklahoma City. We're glad you get to go to Oklahoma City. I think I'm going to try to venture out. I'm not going to be able to go to the early parts, but if we advance, then I'll try to venture out to Oklahoma City and go see some Tech softball there. Pretty awesome. These tickets
They're not.
are harder to procure than men's College World Series
Well,
tickets.
it's
Now
not-
the size of stadium is
It's
much
size of
different.
stadium. I bought day one. Well, if someone's looking, I've got some tickets.
Okay. I mean, they're not hard. They're just more expensive than the men's College World Series.
Actually, I don't think they are.
When I went, and it's been 9 years since the last time I went to Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Omaha and got GA seats, that's the difference. You can get GA seats in what do we call it? TD Ameritrade now?
Ameritrade. It's in the outfield.
Yeah, you can sit out there for $40.
Yeah.
You can't do that at this place.
No, because
There's no GAs.
They're all reserved, and even the outfield are reserved. And
They're
it was a good seat, though.
Oh yeah, they're fine.
That's
They're
all,
great.
I mean, if you sat in the outfield at the regional here at Tech,
oh, they're
you know,
great.
that's a great seat. I mean, like
You
I
can
said,
see everything.
You can see, yeah, you can reach out and touch the shoulder of the outfielder.
Yeah, so if you're going to Oklahoma City for any of this portion, y'all can let us know on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll talk about Tech softball, obviously advancing to the first College World Series in program history. We've got all sorts of little odds and ends to get into today. We'll talk some Tech football. We'll get into I've got an MLB all-quarter century not MLB. I've got the college football all-quarter century coaching staff.
Okay.
Or coaches, top 25 coaches, which is an interesting list if you're into that. We've got all sorts of other things. High school mascots.
Love it.
I've got a list of the top
Hutto Hippos.
the top 20 mascots in the country. Top 20 weirdest mascots in the
Mesquite
country.
Skeeters.
Texas has, I think, tied for the most.
Roscoe Plowboys.
Oh, I love all of these are great.
Hamlin Pied Pipers.
Yep. Keep going.
Quero Gobblers.
Yep, that's on the list.
The Gobblers.
The Gobblers made the list.
The Sand Gnats. I forgot where they're at.
Sand gnats? I've heard of the sand crabs.
There's the Sand Gnats and the Sand Crabs.
Sand crabs are somewhere down around Houston.
How about Del Valle Conquistadors?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. You done?
Do I need to be? Amarillo Sandies?
No.
People outside of the state of Texas think the Amarillo Sandies is a great name.
I prefer the
Golden
Sandstorm.
Sand and Storm.
I like that better. But anyway, so yeah, we've got those things to get
Winners,
into
blizzards, polar bears.
Polar bears. Wait, Polar's not a school anymore, right?
It was a school.
No, Frost is
Frost
the
Polar Bears.
There it is. I don't think Polar has its own school. Frost has the Polar Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Winters has the Blizzards. Yeah, there's all sorts of great ones. So we'll do that. So you are going to Friday night, huh?
No.
Oh, you don't get to go to Rangers?
I'm going to Rangers game.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm going down to Rangers. Yeah.
So you're going to go from Oklahoma City to Rangers night, or Tech night at the Rangers ballpark on Friday night. Who's throwing out the first pitch? McCaslin?
I don't know.
I think that's it. I think I saw that McCaslin will throw out the first pitch.
Cool.
Could be wrong. I hope I'm not leading anybody astray.
I don't know.
Hopefully he gets a Australian point guard in the next 2 days.
I thought that guy was going to go in the draft.
I think he's got until tomorrow to decide. I haven't seen him announce either way. Lucas, is tomorrow the deadline?
It's midnight going into Thursday. So it's 11:59.
Okay, so basically Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's either draft or us.
That's what it sounds like.
Nice.
He's projected early second round.
Early second round. So he's outside of the guaranteed money, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
guaranteed money stops after
The first round.
I thought even after the
Like
lotto
20th.
pick. 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where Tech has an advantage unless someone is like, hey, we're taking you top 20. I think I saw that he worked out with the Kings this week. He's like, so yeah, I feel pretty good about Tech's chances to get him, but we'll see. That'll all go down tomorrow. All right, y'all chime in. We'd love to have your thoughts, your comments. You can tell us about your Memorial Day shenanigans or otherwise. All of that welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll fill you in with some headlines coming up next. This is The Bottom Line with you till 3 o'clock today on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Brought to you by Happy State Bank. We're watchable on TV, Fox 34 News Now, YouTube, Apple TV, Fire Stick, Roku, whatever you got. We're just glad that you've decided to make us part of your Tuesday, however you're tuning us in. Jamie Lint joins us here in the First United Bank studio. I'm Chois Woodman, Clint Scott across the way taking care of us. Y'all continue to chime in if you'd like to. The thoughts, comments, questions, all welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app. You can take that app anywhere with you, even listening out in Pillager, Minnesota.
Pillager.
All right, Jamie, you got the rest of the segment. I'm still filling out my College World Series, or my NCAA baseball bracket right now. So
Okay, so we can start with Big 12 baseball. Okay, here's who I think you should pick.
Okay. Who will get through? Because there are 0 host sites in the Big 12.
None at all. None at all. I think there's some 3s and some 2s that I think have a shot.
Okay.
I think Oklahoma State has a shot in the Athens Regional as a 3.
Okay.
I would not
I'm not going to pick them.
bet on Kansas State or West Virginia in the Austin or Clemson regionals.
Definitely not.
Okay. I think TCU has a shot in the Corvallis Regional.
I've unfortunately picked that one that way.
Okay.
Yep.
There are 2. I think Arizona has a shot. I don't think that the Eugene Regional is that tough.
I agree.
Okay.
I'll have Utah Valley beating Arizona or Oregon out.
Unfortunately, Clint, I wouldn't pick your Jayhawks. I just think it's
I was not thrilled with
too
the
tough of a
landing spot.
location.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although it seems like Arkansas
They've
so
lost there
many
a lot
times
recently. Yep.
is underperforms in the postseason.
They have. They've crumbled in Fayetteville quite a bit.
Let's hope that works out.
Yeah. Okay, so Cincinnati is the one that I would pick the least.
Okay.
As the 3 in Knoxville. And this LA regional, while I think it's just kind of boring, I don't think it's the most exciting one.
Mm-hmm.
I like Arizona State's chances there.
I think it will be the 2 or the 3. I think Irvine's got a chance there too. So that's the tough thing. Whoever wins that first game,
they need Jacobs, their ace. He's kind of an up and down guy, but when he's really good, he's super good. So they need him to pitch well and give them a chance. But so I think there's some Big 12 teams that have a chance to advance. So how many did I just say have a chance? Oklahoma State,
I think 4.
1.
Arizona,
TCU, Arizona
State,
and Arizona State. So 4. How many do you think are going to get out of the regionals?
2.
2.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I
like it.
For a guy that has as much SEC bias disdain as I do, I'm not shy about that. I don't hide it. Going through this bracket is disgusting to me and I don't deny it. I mean, they obviously have the best baseball conference, but it's one seed.
Baseball than they are in football.
I agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, people don't really. I don't think.
No, and they're pouring money into baseball even more than they're pouring money into football, which is when we're going
comparison
ratio
to other conferences. Yes.
Compare the ratio to other conferences. Yeah, I mean
and their facilities are just crazy.
It's just a different animal. So
yeah. So I gave you 4. I'm going to say 1 advances. And watch, it'll be one of them that I said.
That you didn't say.
It'll be the Jayhawks.
I do think they have a chance because of Arkansas struggles at home. For whatever reason, I think there is a monkey on the back thing there. But were you surprised to see 8 teams get through?
Yes.
Because you sat here and
I'm not specifically surprised at any of them. I feel like all of them were worthy. You know, obviously the way Oklahoma State finished got them in the conversation, and their tough non-conference schedule. Kansas State did not finish strong, so I was a little bit nervous about them.
Yep.
Arizona State did not finish super strong, but they played better in the Big 12 tournament. Cincinnati was the one that really surprised me, if I'm being honest.
But they were sitting at, 32 or something in the RPI when it all was said and done. It's hard to leave a team out that's right there. So
does 8 being in make you feel worse as a Red Raider fan?
It does. Actually, when I sat there and looked at that, I'm like, every team that finished ahead of you in the conference standings is in. And I thought through it from a perspective of if you just would have had a powder puff schedule like you've had sometimes, where you maybe get some confidence up earlier in the season, who knows what happens? Who knows? You don't know. If you don't go to North Carolina early, if you don't have Irvine come here, if you don't have all these powerful teams that you play early on, if you have a inflated record that helps with the confidence part of it, maybe you play a little bit better in Big 12 play and have a 16-14 record like Cincinnati does, and maybe you find your way into the tournament with this. Because overall, the Big 12's RPI was not bad as a league, and that's when you get 8 teams in.
Just no elite teams.
Right.
Nobody that you look at and say they've got a chance to win it all. Nobody that you look at and feel like, I can see that team making it to Omaha. I don't know if I can say that about any of these.
Because you sat here for the last few weeks and I'm not saying you were wrong. You said Big 12 is just not a very good league this year. And I think
I think it's mediocre.
Well, I think we as sports fans, when you don't have the power at the top, that's fair. We say it's not that good because there's not one team that's leading the charge. But I think you were a solid league. Mediocre's
that's fair.
Fine. You were solid, but what is even more maddening as a Texas Tech fan is that you went through this league and won games against just about every team in the tournament. Not everyone, but almost all these teams you won at least a game against. And you're still sitting at home with a losing record.
Now, what you said at the beginning, I am not going to argue with you or disagree with you or anything.
I don't know if it's
when you said if you had played a more of a powder puff schedule and had more confidence, would you have been different? Would things have worked out for you? I think that is all fair for you to say.
Is a question. I'm not saying it would have happened.
But if that is true, then you were a team that was mentally weak, that couldn't get. And I'm saying I'm open to the idea that this was true.
Yeah.
Okay. That this was a problem, and Coach Tadlock referenced it during the season at times. Okay. That this was a team that was not mentally strong, that did not handle adversity.
Yep.
Couldn't bounce back when you were a team that was so horrible starting games, you couldn't dig yourself out of holes. You, instead of, hey, worry about the next pitch, you just went away when you got into these early, deficits. You just went away. And so I think everything you're saying is true, but it points out how you just weren't a mentally strong team.
Yeah.
And it matters. It matters.
Obviously does, yeah.
Because you're going to, just like in life, you're going to face some adversity. You're going to have things go wrong. You're going to have, as a pitcher, you're going to have shortstops boot balls. It doesn't have to turn into a 4 or 5 run inning.
Yeah.
And you just weren't good at dealing with those situations.
We'll continue this conversation. Got a few more thoughts on the Yates Flooring Center chat line coming up. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. This is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app. Brought to you by Happy State Bank. Chois, Jamie, and Clint with you this afternoon. Y'all keep hitting us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Jamie, have you ever heard of a school called LSU Shreveport?
Yes.
Okay, I've never heard of the school before this weekend.
Sure. I'm trying to think if...
What, are they recruiting your daughter or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Why do I know LSU?
They're an NAIA school.
Yeah, I don't remember why I know of them. Okay.
You
know where Shreveport is, right?
Well, yeah, there's casinos there, too.
There's casinos there. I should have known.
What?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Okay.
We were there for a bowl game. So, LSU Shreveport is doing something pretty amazing right now in baseball. They recently had to rally as their pitcher struck out 10 batters in 7 innings, and the top seeded LSUS, sounds weird, rallied from an early 2-run deficit to defeat the defending national champion Hope International at the NAIA World Series. The victory was the Pilots' second at the double elimination tournament and improved their record to 56-0. Wow. So they are vying for a undefeated baseball season.
Baseball.
How does that's almost impossible in this sport.
No doubt.
I mean, when OU softball, did they go undefeated one year? They were close. I don't remember if they went undefeated a few years back. But when they were, putting together almost undefeated seasons, that's amazing. But baseball is a sport that's, as we've learned, even different than softball. So that was pretty amazing to see that.
Crazy amazing.
But they're not done. So if the Chois jinx is real, LSU Shreveport is about to lose their first game.
I was going to say, this
because I brought it up.
Well, right?
What's more impressive makes it sound like one of them's a good thing, but that streak, or was it? It was the two colleges. One had like a 40-game losing streak, and the other one had a 100-game losing streak, and they broke it on the same day in a doubleheader.
Yeah, against each other. Yeah, that one's more interesting, Clint.
Interesting. That's the word. Not impressive.
Impressive is not the word. But interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeshiva and Lemon.
One of those.
Lewan.
That's it. Knew it. All right, y'all keep chiming in. I just saw that, and I'm like, 56-0 in baseball.
That's crazy.
Is unbelievable. And I will feel really bad for them if they don't finish out the undefeated season.
Are they leaders in the NIL of the NAIA?
That's a good question. I don't know if you can give money in NAIA, but...
NAIA, NIL.
EIEIO.
Yes.
NAIA is interesting, and yes, I've done a little research on this. They can give athletic scholarships. Many, and obviously, Division III cannot.
Right.
Okay.
LCU was NAIA before they went to Division II, right?
Okay.
Am I correct on that?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So depending on what state you are, they kind of take NAIA a little bit more serious than others.
Correct.
So if you were in the state of Texas,
Then Division III, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I think there are certain circumstances or instances where NAIA might have as much money or more than Division II schools to give for scholarships.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah.
Because they play by a different set of rules.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not the NCAA rules.
Right. Not like international rules. You can't goaltend or anything like that. You can't take a ball off the rim. I'm not talking about that. But.
Not that different set of rules.
Yeah.
Someone says Howard College went undefeated when J-Bob was there in baseball.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So it can happen, but undefeated in baseball is just
That's crazy.
it's just nuts.
Yeah.
Was firing Gardner the right move? It's from the chat line.
Oh man.
We haven't really talked about this today.
Okay. So I guess we have to wait and see, right?
Obviously.
You don't know. But you can
And 1 year is probably not enough to wait and see
Yeah.
the answer to that either.
I think I can sit here today and make a case for yes, it was the right move, and make a case for no, it was not the right move.
Right.
You can look at the box scores or the season stats and see that you're near the bottom of the Big 12 conference and your pitching staff has not been great. And so for the last few years, and you can say, okay, well, some for whatever reason, you got to make a change. Something's got to change.
Yep.
Got to do something different. I understand that part of it, but I also understand the part of it where Coach Gardner was your pitching coach and did a terrific job in 2 of those 4 College World Series runs.
Yep.
You look at the last 2 regionals that you have lost, your pitching was fantastic in both of those regionals, and your offense couldn't score runs, and it was more about the offense than the pitching. But it's hard to argue against the fact that your pitching staff has not been great the last few years. Is that on the pitching coach, or is that on guys not performing? Obviously, as a pitching coach, you're responsible for the guys developing and getting better, and you're the primary pitch caller and all of those things. So it kind of falls on him. But I just look at guys that have been developed and been really good under Coach Matt Gardner and have gone on, and now some of them are touching the big leagues. And then I look at guys in this year's team that struggled,
Sure.
and I say, okay, well, was that about Matt Gardner not coaching as well as he used to, or these guys just not being good enough? And so
Or you're recruiting at a lower level than you did at one point.
There you go. And we've definitely, in the last 4 or 5 years, had so many key injuries to the pitching staff. This may have been the healthiest, okay, in the last 4 or 5 years.
It was,
yeah. Yet Parker Hutera's injury to this team, I felt like was massive. And Jackson Burns, another first weekend of the season starter, that got sick after the first week, and we never saw him back because he was so sick. That obviously affected your team.
Yep.
Lucas Perko being out for a big chunk affected this pitching staff, and, and clearly he wasn't the same guy when he came back. He needs more time, but just Jacob Rogers, who you expected to be a really good player for you this year, and he didn't start the season healthy, and then missed a bunch of time, and then when he did come back, he's a shell of his former self right now, and he just needs time to get going again, right? To figure it all out and get his timing back and all those kind of things. So I don't know. Again, like I said, I can make a case for it being the right move. I can make a case for it being, people have said, is he being used as the scapegoat here? What you said, Chois, I think is very accurate. You got to get back to recruiting at a higher level.
I think that's where it starts. I mean, there may be accuracy to looking at the numbers and seeing a decline. whether it's development or not. There's accuracy to the numbers of Matt Gardner at least being really good at one point in his time at Texas Tech, because I mean he was your pitching coach for a couple of College World Series. So there can be truths found in a lot of different areas, but I think and we talked about this before any moves happened, when you have a season like you had, which is your worst winning percentage season in 40 years, since 1985, then changes are almost they just kind of have to be made. And it's not like this was a one-off because you missed the playoff or the postseason last year too. So
it's just a situation.
The hand is kind of forced.
Yeah, you look at things and say something's got to change.
So you probably look at, okay, what has been the biggest struggle for you the last few years, and pitching has. So it may be a scapegoat situation. You may see Matt Gardner go have success somewhere else immediately, and I'll root for the guy because I like him. But I also understand the business, and it's a business of college athletics, and hopefully you can bring someone in that will revamp things. And I don't think a singular pitching coach will be what you need, though. I don't think you're a pitching coach away from getting back to Omaha. You might be a pitching coach in addition to better recruiting and more NIL money away from getting back to Omaha. So
What comes first, the chicken or the egg choice?
Yeah. So I think you it's a move that you could definitely argue needed to be made, but also you need supplementation to that move with other things that needs to be fixed.
Because you can have a genius pitching coach all day long, but if he doesn't have good players to throw the pitches,
if Jamie Lynn's trotting out there to throw pitches, then that was harsh. So.
Yeah, we're probably not going to be very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I might need a cutoff man.
It's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Thanks for hanging with us on a Tuesday. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app. Chois, Jamie, Clint with you today. Y'all keep the thoughts coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Get to some college football talk coming up in a little bit, but right now it's time for Jaime's question.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
All right, today's question is about Red Raider football.
Okay.
And I am, as I did this morning, taking an answer away.
Okay.
Okay. Your answer cannot be the health of Baron Morton. Okay?
Okay.
If I were to say you have one question, one thing you're worried about with this upcoming Red Raider football season. One question, one thing you're worried about. This guy over here, Choice, has a look on his face like he's got some sarcastic
I don't
answer.
have anything. No.
No, I'm talking about him.
Oh, this one over
that
here.
Guy. Yeah. Okay.
I'm drumming up an answer. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, you just look confused, like you're thinking really hard.
Thanks.
Okay.
I am confused most of the
One
time.
thing are you nervous about, that you have questions about, that you're scared about with this Red Raider football team?
Go ahead, Clint.
What's the need of seeing the backup quarterbacks for any various reason?
Oh.
I just wanted to find a loophole. I'll get a better answer.
Yeah. Wish we could push him down a loophole.
Wow, man.
A set of stairs would be fine for me.
Okay.
Yeah, what's worse, stairs or loopholes? I've never been pushed down a
We
loophole.
have like a set of stairs to a basement, like very close to the door here of the studio. I am full on jinx right here. I am shocked with all the shenanigans that go on in this place.
Yeah.
That none of us have fallen down those stairs yet.
One time, Choice boasted that he couldn't be jump scared, and I grabbed his ankle while the lights were off from that set of stairs, and he spilled water on himself.
No, I threw it all over you.
No, you spilled it on yourself.
I had a cup of water, and I just
I know
dumped
you
it on
think that, You spilled it on yourself.
It was not true. That's not true.
That's what I would have done too.
So, what has me the most concerned? I think I'm concerned. You rectified for the most part ability to win on the road last year. So there's still some road games that have me concerned this year that I think could easily be overlooked, like the Utah game to start out. But I think the overall concern is, will you play to the level of your opponent this year? Because I think you've done that a lot in the last few seasons where you've played close games, maybe in games you weren't supposed to win, and you've played close games in games that weren't supposed to be as close. I think you've won a whole lot of close games, but they have you've gotten bit a few times in.
Sometimes it's good to
games.
play to the level of your opponent.
Sometimes
when you're not the better team.
Right, and I think you've done that on both sides. Sometimes you've played up, and sometimes you've played down, and I think that's where my concern is will you eliminate those games of playing close to an ACU or losing a game? Washington State ended up being a good team last year, so a road loss to them wasn't as bad as it looked. But the Wyoming loss was not one that you probably should have had. So I guess playing to the level of your opponent is my concern.
I think my biggest concern is there's just a lot of new on the roster. And when you look at it on paper, it's really exciting and there's a lot of talent there. But still, when you look at leaning on new and leaning on youth, and that includes, hey, a couple new coordinators, what if the chemistry side isn't there? What if you did all of this work in the offseason, made all of these headlines, and spent all this money, and you still only win 8 games? Because we've seen great rosters be put together in sports and it not work out. We've seen rosters before go, it sure wasn't worth that price tag, and it cannot be this year. It can't happen this year. Now, I don't think it will, but still there's that little voice in the back of my head. There's a little cricket squeaking back there just going, what if it happened to you?
That's Lucas. He's behind you over there.
Oh, I thought it was Brennan. There's a couple crickets back there.
Hey-o.
So my answer is very similar to Clint's. It's just the fact that you have so many new players and new coordinators. What's the chemistry going to be like? You don't just have new players that are coming in to fill, hey, he'll be a role player. He'll help us or give us some depth. You have role players that you are calling upon to lead you and be your best players. Now, one of the things that I think is super positive about this is you have a leader on offense and a leader on defense that have been here for 3 or 4 years and kind of run the thing, right? The kind of coach on the field, and Baron Morton and Jacob Rodriguez, that those guys can lead the charge. I just worry about the chemistry. I mean, you're taking a bunch of stars from a bunch of different teams. You're putting together a dream team, but we know when you do that, all-star teams don't always mesh well together. And so how does that fit? Right.
We've seen it. There's examples of it working in various sports. There's examples of it not working.
Absolutely. It can work, especially because you have a larger margin for error when you're talented.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Ohio State worked really well last year. They went and had the biggest payroll roster, and they won the national championship.
With a new quarterback.
Yeah. So it worked out just fine for Ohio State. We've
got beat out by one of the Hansen brothers.
We've seen other teams. Heck, we've seen Texas Tech basketball where it's worked and where it hasn't worked.
Oh, yeah.
And where it absolutely burned one year. Texas Tech softball, great example of it working out pretty peachy. I mean, you
a lot of them were together last year.
Do what?
At least 5 of them were together last year, playing for a different team.
Okay, yeah. I guess Louisiana, but your main piece was not. And hey, and you never know how, where it's public, hey, this player is making so much more than the rest of the team. how that's going to work out. And
Sure.
they've seemed to be just fine with
They're doing-
giving Nyjah Kennedy the spotlight.
They're
and-
doing well, and I think probably you have to give her a lot of credit for that
Sure.
because of her personality. And
I agree.
She seems
Yep.
very humble, and I imagine that all of her teammates, appreciate that and are,
Yeah. But even prior to the NIL, Jamie, we've seen coaches, we've seen
Look at it in professional
situations-
sports when teams try to buy championships. It doesn't always work.
No, it doesn't. Sometimes it gets close. And honestly, that's what you're asking for Texas Tech. You're not trying to buy an NCAA championship, a college football championship. You're just trying to get on the in crowd. You're trying to get close. You're trying to get to the college football playoff.
I'd be all right if you bought one.
That would be fine with me.
Yeah, if you're going to go,
Yeah,
we've already bought the pieces. We might as well just go ahead and win the whole thing, right?
Okay, that'd be all right. But I think, Jamie, before the NIL, we saw Texas A&M. Those are kind of the prime ones that have screwed up with all the talent.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen them absolutely drive it into the ditch.
Don't you dare mention the New York Yankees right now.
We have seen the New York Yankees.
And their false MVPs.
Boy, howdy.
That's what I said.
He's going to die on that cross.
He is.
I literally am going to kill him with it.
Okay.
You're going to push me down another one of those loopholes.
Or just
With your
Which
body
is
weight.
exactly how they want it.
So there are no guarantees, but I think that concern is a very fair one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is.
If you listen carefully, you can hear the guy who beat out Howard at quarterback.
Which
That was him right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
On a poster, I think you're probably right. You would not be able to tell the difference. Hanson and Avery Johnson.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.